Hi YouTube, this is your girl KeKe. Thank you for tuning in to KeKe Life of Tea. This is actually my very first YouTube video, and thank you for tuning in, and Happy New Year. This video will be about questions that you should ask your possible daycare provider for your child. It's very important that you do some sort of interview process so you can try to choose the right daycare provider for your child. I thought this video was very important because now you hear so many incidents and deaths of children at daycare. So hopefully this video will try to help you pick the right one for your child that's safe. And have a couple questions. I'll try to shoot through them. And also in the description, I will have additional questions for you all, just in case you're interested in more, as well as any helpful links or terms that you all may not be familiar with. So I'll just go right ahead with it. Number one, is your staff trained on CPR, first aid, SIDS, and how often? Number two, what is the visitation policy for when someone's coming to pick up your child? That's important. Number three, what is your teacher to student ratio? Meaning, how many students are assigned to each teacher? For instance, usually there's I think it's 4 to 1, 4 students. Every 4 students, there should be 1 teacher. So it's usually typically 2 teachers in a classroom, just depending on how big the class is. Number 4, what is the diapering policy? Now this is important because you don't want your child had no diaper on all day and been changed once or twice. No. That's how diaper rash gets started, and you don't want that. Number 5, are items allowed in the crib such as blankets and toys? Now this is a tricky question because items in the bed can be a SIDS risk, and you don't want that. You don't want your child to die while they're at school, or period for that matter. So that's a tricky question, and you'll have to see how to answer it. Number 6, how are injuries and accidents handled during school hours? And the reason for this question, because if anything happens to your child, small or big, they are supposed to call you immediately. My child, she's 2. She have had a couple incidents, maybe 2 or 3, and they were minor, but they called me immediately. And at the end of the day, whether it was me or my husband that picked her up, we got an incident report in paper. You need that as well. Number 7, are teachers screened during the hiring process, and are they screened periodically after that? You want to know that because you don't want your teacher or whoever watching your daughter who's a killer. I don't think you want that. So I think you should ask. Number 8, how often are toys cleaned and replaced? That's important as well because you don't want Timmy slobbing on the toy your child got, and then maybe the next day they got it in their mouth, and then the next day your child got a fever or a virus. That's why. Because they ain't clean they dang on toys. You better make sure they do that. Number 9, how are allergies managed? This is important. For instance, if your child has a peanut allergy, you need to know what is being fed to your child and if it has peanuts in it. And they need to be aware of it so they don't give your child something that they're allergic to. Number 10, what is your child's sick policy? You need to know this because, for instance, I think it's if your child has a fever of 101 or 102, at my daughter's school, she can't return for 24 hours. So you need to know that if you're working so you can plan ahead for your next day. Number 11, what are the facility business hours? Of course, you need to know when they open and close, so you'll know what time you can drop your child off and what time you need to be there before they close. Number 12, what is a policy for when a parent is late picking up your child? This is similar to the last question. You want to know that because there are late fees. So if you come after they close, you will be charged a late fee. And different facilities charge different rates once you're late. So you want to know that because you don't want to pick up your child 15, 20 minutes late and they tell you the next day, oh, you owe $50 still. You don't want no surprises. Number 13, what is the curriculum for my child's age group? You want to know how is the school going to contribute to your child's education on a daily basis. You want to know what they're learning, if they're learning, the curriculum is on track. You want to know if they're learning ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s. You want to know all of that just to make sure they're getting the education that they need at their age. 14, what type of meals are provided by the school and how often per day? You just want to know what your child is being fed at school. My child, she gets a breakfast, she gets lunch, and an evening snack. You want to know this so when you come home, when your child come home, you'll know what time to feed them for dinner, or if they're hungry, or whatever the case may be. 15, what are your rates and fees to enroll? Of course, you want to know that. That also plays a big part into if you can afford the school. And fees, sometimes there are additional fees such as a registration fee. That can vary from school to school as well. Sometimes it's due annually. Just depends on the school. 16, what items are needed from the parent for the child at school? You need to know this as well because, for instance, my daughter's school, we have to bring, when she was a little younger, we have to bring diapers, wipes, and we also have to bring a blanket now. So you want to know that, so especially if your child has sensitive skin, you may be bringing sensitive skin wipes. They may put a wipe on your child that has high fragrance. You don't want that either. Then your child's bottom is breaking out or with a rash. 17, very important, what security measures are in place such as cameras and the building access? Some schools have security cameras that you can access, that you can see your child on camera at school, in their classroom. That's helpful. I also have that at my daughter's school. I pay a monthly fee. I can see her all day and it's in real time. Real time is good to know too, just so you'll know what's happening at the exact same time you're watching the camera. Building access, that's important as well because you want to know how people are entering the building. Typically, schools have like some type of code for you to get in the door. So you need to know all of this. Like I've heard people say, they don't gave them the wrong kid. No, where's my kid? And how do you not know who my kid is? And how you just letting me pick up anybody's child? You don't want that. 18, does your teachers administer medicine? You want to know this in case your child has a medical problem. For instance, like if they have asthma or they need an EpiPen, you need to know that the teacher is equipped to give your child medicine. 19 is the center license. That's number 1. You need to know that for sure. And 20, last but not least, do your school provide daily activity reports? And if so, how are they delivered to the parent? Some schools, they may email them to you. It may be some type of online system that you can get on each day to log in to see the reports. Or they may just give you a paper report. Me personally, I'm a millennial. I want electronic. I don't want no paper. Because then I can keep accessing it and go back to it easily wherever I'm at. So that's convenient. And the activity report usually tells you like what time your child went to sleep, how long, what they ate for the day, when they pooped, when they peed, what they learned for the day. Now, when they peep and when they poop is important because your child could be constipated and you want to know when your child have their next bowel movement. So that's important as well. And that's it for all my questions. I hope they've been very helpful for you. I really hope you use some of these questions when you're visiting daycares for your child, or even if they're in school now, still ask these questions because, you know, you might want to transfer just in case you're dissatisfied with how they're doing business. Like I said, I will put these same questions down below in the description. I'll also put additional questions in there as well that you may want to ask. And maybe some helpful links or terms if something you wasn't sure about. And that's pretty much it. So like, comment, and subscribe. There will be more videos to come. Thank you. Bye-bye.